color. The continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington, Patricia Morrow as Rita Harrington, James Douglas as Stephen Cord.
If Leslie Harrington were able to act with force, he would make Eddie Jacks return the written proof that Harrington employed Eddie to commit murder. But despite his anxiety, he can't. All he can do is leave a message that it is vitally important that Eddie come to Harrington's office as soon as he finishes his meeting with Dr. Rossi. What Harrington does not know is that he's already been betrayed by Eddie. Martin Peyton is now in possession of the document that proves that Harrington employed Eddie Jacks to murder Peyton.
You wanted to see me?
Get in, Leslie.
You feel all right, Martin?
No, but I'm getting used to that.
How did you know I was here?
It occurred to me that you might be visiting Rita. Weber spotted your car in the parking lot. How is she?
She's going to be all right. What's so important?
I need your help, Leslie.
Why?
Because there's nothing or no one to keep me here now. I'm leaving. I'm closing up the house. I'm leaving Peyton Place for good. But what is more important, I don't want to be burdened with what to do or what not to do with the mill. Oh, I know that ever since I paid you for running it, I've constantly interfered and overruled you. But, Leslie, I'm asking you to take over. Not just the mill. I want you to take over all my properties, my lands, and other interests here.
You don't really expect me to believe that, do you? Not after all these years.
I certainly hope you believe it, Leslie, because you're the only one I have to turn to. You see, you know the mill inside out, top to bottom. You know all my interests here.
I'd expect everything to be spelled out on a contract.
Well, Bill Kennelly is still in town, and he'll take care of that.
All right, I'll think about it.
I'd like to have your answer now.
Why now? Why today?
Well, because I'm leaving tomorrow. Now, get all the records of the mill together. Kennelly will meet you there at 9 o'clock tonight. And when you've finished beating your brains out against his legal mind, I'll come by and we'll get things settled.
What's the catch?
Catch? Huh. I like to pay my debts. Ever since I've been here, I've used you and your sons. Now that I'm finished, I want to pay the bill.
I find it impossible to believe that you have any sense of responsibility toward me and my sons.
I don't care what you believe. You be at that mill tonight, or I'll turn everything over to a Boston managing concern, and you could start dealing with them. Unless they followed my suggestion and already replaced you.
Martin, look at me. You're a liar.
That's true.
You went out for reasons of your own. You feel no sense of responsibility toward anyone.
I want out because I'm tired, Leslie. I buried too many, far too many people. I don't want ever to smell the fresh-turned earth of that awful cemetery again.
I can almost buy that.
I don't care whether you can almost buy it or not. I've made you an offer. Now take it or leave it.
All right. I'll be at the mill, and I'll have everything ready. But I won't sign anything unless you start talking like a businessman. I'm ready to leave it.
too, sir. Mr. Peyton, are you all right? What's the matter, sir?
Nothing.
Well, something must be bothering you the way you look. Was it something Harrington said?
Take me home. Stop staring at me. Take me home.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Doctor. I'll set it up for this afternoon. Early? Yes.
Never mind that note I left for Mr. Jacks.
Oh.
Just say that I'm too busy to see him until tomorrow. Thank you.
Hey, Eddie, you got a minute?
Later. I got an
Oh,
appointment.
well, this won't take long.
What I am trying to tell you, my friend, is that I talked to nobody but my lawyer.
Well, what do I tell Rita when I see her? Eddie, listen, all I want is your version. What happened the night that Adrian Van Leyden was killed? Now, I know what you've told Stephen, and I know what you've told the police. I'd like you to tell me from the top.
Why?
Well, let's just say it's for Rita.
I've already talked to Rita.
Well, then let's just say I'd like to hear it again.
Sorry, orders. But I will tell you one thing. I'm no murderer.
I hope that's the truth, Eddie.
Well, it is, and I can prove it.
How?
You just wait till my hearing.
Eddie, you know who did it?
Not exactly.
Oh, not exactly.
Well, somebody else was there and left after the dame was killed. And left scared, and that was before I went into the house.
Well, this somebody else, was it a man or a woman?
A woman.
Well, what'd she look like?
Well, don't worry about that, Rod. We'll find her.
Wait a minute, you must have something to go on. Was she tall or short? What was her coloring? Something.
Well, she was young, and she was about this high, dark hair. Long dark hair. Does that fit anyone you know?
Well, there's a lot of girls around with dark hair.
Yeah. Well, I'm late. Do you mind?
Jacks persists with his story of the dark-haired girl. Contradictory descriptions of her each time. Hard to believe that no one else in the house was aware. Yes?
Mr. Jacks to see you.
Cinnamon.
Mr. Cord, I never had a lawyer like you.
What do you mean?
Well, why haven't you talked to me since I've been out on bail?
I'm not in the habit of chasing my clients around town.
Well, they got a phone right down the hall from my room.
Look, let me worry about it.
Not when it's my life on the block.
You want another lawyer?
Maybe.
Get one.
You know you're the best around. And you know that I want you. But you're making me very nervous, Mr. Cord. You're acting like you don't really believe me. Like maybe you think I did kill that dame. Like maybe you'll blow it on purpose. I don't want that kind of a lawyer.
I'm not that unethical, Mr. Jacks.
Well, then how come you're sitting here doing nothing? They got enough circumstantial evidence to hurt me.
Don't try to teach me my business.
You gotta prove it could have been somebody else, and you gotta find that somebody else. That dark-haired girl I was telling you about.
You want me on this case or not?
Well, you think I killed the Van Leyden dame?
No.
Then yes, I want you on this case. But I want to know why you haven't been doing anything on this case.
First, let's get a couple of things clear. Now, when I take a case, I take it. It's mine. Nobody tells me how to handle it. The police, the judge, the press, or the client. Nobody. All I ask of the client is that he pay my fee.
Yeah. Well, I'm prepared to come up with some cash.
Now, stand still and listen when I talk to you. Now, I'm perfectly aware Mr. Peyton was very anxious to post bail for you.
Hold on.
And I'm also very aware that you and Mr. Peyton have a great deal to talk about in your private meetings.
You're trying to make something out of nothing.
I know you're hiding something, Mr. Jacks, but I'm not asking you what it is, am I? And I don't intend to.
So get off my back and get out of my office and don't try to tell me how to handle my case.
Okay, man. Come on.
Go on yourself, Mr. Jacks. Now, just let me know if you want to switch lawyers. I'll be happy to oblige.
Well, I'm not surprised, standing out there in the snow all that time. Actually, I think you came through the whole ordeal very nicely. I watched you during the services. It was as if you were there as some courtesy for a business acquaintance or something, not a sign of grief or pity.
I leave hypocrisy to others.
Hypocrisy or compassion?
You're not trying to tell me that you feel compassion for Adrian Van Leyden. You, Dr. Rossi, former colleague and protege of Philllip Van Leyden.
Yes, I disliked her. But I never wanted to see her dead.
What was in your mind when you stormed into this house the day Adrian arrived, ranting and raving against her?
I felt as if she were responsible for her husband's suicide, and I didn't want to see her rewarded.
And you wanted revenge for Philllip Van Leyden's suicide. Pure and simple.
Maybe, but I could never have harmed her.
Well, perhaps Adrian's death wasn't exactly what you had in mind. But you wanted her punished, didn't you? And quite correctly. Weber, open that box. Doctor, I want you to read this letter. Please understand, in this choice, I will find what I have lost. Lost in her laughter. I can no longer think of myself as a man. I can no longer think. Forgive me, Philip. That was his final letter, the one I spoke of. So you see, your instincts about Adrian were accurate.
That letter still doesn't give you the right to play God. You know, Mr. Peyton, the last time we talked, you said your marriage wasn't going to be what I thought it was, but a punishment.
Well, I prefer to think of it as a reminder to Adrian's conscience. But fate was merciful. It allowed Adrian to die swiftly.
Fate. Somehow I don't believe you.
Well, surely you don't think that I have supernatural powers, that I could predict all this.
No, but I think you know more about her death than you're telling.
Well, let's say that with or without Eddie Jack's help, I'm satisfied that justice has been done.
How is it? He'll be all right. You don't have to go up there, you know. He's already got Lee Weber dancing in attendance. Steve, you know, your mother had the right idea when she tried to burn down this old place.
You mean Mrs. Cord?
Yeah. At least she got away from it. I wonder if you'll be as lucky.